Welcome back to our channel. Today is a beautiful sunny day, but we are about to dive headfirst into the absolute darkness and madness of Port Charles. Grab a very large cup of coffee or maybe something stronger because we have a massive amount of ground to cover today, and the storylines are getting completely wild. So let's just jump right into Tuesday, June 2, because the writers are honestly throwing everything at the wall right now and seeing what sticks. At the Quartermain Mansion, Tracy and Brooklyn are having a major high-stakes strategy session. And you guys, they are counting on Rick Lansing to be Deception Seeker weapon. Rick Lansing. Let that sink in for a second. It is always so incredibly funny to me when the high and mighty Quartermains have to rely on someone they usually can't stand. But Tracy is desperate right now. She wants Nell Sidwell pushed out of the company as soon as possible. And honestly, can you blame her? Sidwell has been an absolute nightmare from day one. He was supposed to just be a supplier with that Zinsight stuff for the Deceptor. But he demanded to be more than a supplier, and now he is basically holding them hostage in their own boardroom. Tracy is not someone who handles being held hostage well. She needs Sidwell gone like yesterday. Rick is supposedly going to offer some guidance on how to achieve this goal. And you just know Rick is going to milk this for all it's worth. He loves having leverage over the Quartermains. He loves being the smartest guy in the room, and let's not forget his history. Rick is a master manipulator. He has done terrible things to the people in this town, including Elizabeth, but he's a brilliant lawyer. Tracy knows that when you need a corporate snake, you hire the biggest snake in the grass. Brooklyn is sitting there looking incredibly tense during this meeting. And let's be real. She has a million other things on her mind. She is secretly stressing about Michael figuring out she was the driver of that black BMW in the hit and run. With Curtis and Isaiah, Brooklyn is terrified that her entire marriage to Chase is going to blow up. Chase is a cop. He values honesty above everything. If he finds out his wife covered up a felony hit and run, it is going to destroy him. Michael is already setting a cheating trap for Chase and Willow, and Brooklyn's secret is the perfect ammunition for Michael to use. So Brooklyn is trying to focus on deception, but she is sweating bullets. The tension in that room is going to be thick enough to cut with a knife. Maybe. I'm being too harsh on Rick, but you know how he operates. He will give them a legal loophole, but it will probably come with strings attached. Tracy is a shark, though. If anyone can outmaneuver Rick while simultaneously using him to outmaneuver Sidwell, it is Tracy Quartermain. Meanwhile, over at the police station, things are just depressing. Elizabeth is lending an ear to Dante as he continues to worry sick about Rocco. And my heart just breaks for Dante right now. His son is missing. Rocco is on the run with Britt. Westbourne, and Dante's losing his mind. Liz is being such a good friend here. She is always that solid sounding board for people. Even after Britt literally locked Liz in a closet recently, Liz is still just standing by the water cooler listening to Dante vent his fears. But then Joe Fitzpatrick walks in, and I have to talk about Joe. Dante quizzes Joe about whether he's learned any new info as the search for Rocco and Britt presses on. Joe looks worried, but you guys, I do not trust this guy for a single second. The fans on social media have been saying it for days, and I agree. Joe Fitzpatrick is totally working for Ross Coulson and Jen Sidwell. Sidwell literally bragged about having more than one informant. Who else would it be? Joe is right there in the PCPD intercepting leads, probably making sure the cops stay exactly one step behind Britt and Rocco. It makes me so mad because Dante is standing there pouring his heart out hopping for a shred of good news, and Joe is just playing him. At least that is my theory, and the PCPD is famously terrible at solving crimes anyway. They couldn't find a stolen car if it was parked in the lobby. So, Rocco and Britt are out there hiding, and the cops are basically useless. Dante is going to have to take matters into his own hands, which of course he already tried to do. Which brings me to the absolute emotional roller coaster that is Lulu and Carly. So Lulu opens up to Carly, and this is a big deal. Lulu has been holding so much inside since she woke up from her coma. She came back to a world where Sam McCall had recently died. Dante had moved on and everything was different. But now she is sitting with Carly and she makes a confession. A confession about having more than just friendly feelings for Dante. Yes, she admits that part of her still loves him. And I am screaming. The fans are screaming. We all knew this was coming, right? You don't just wake up from a coma and completely stop loving the father of your child. Let's zoom out for a second and look at this. History: Dante and Lulu were the golden couple for years. They went through infertility, kidnapping, Stavros Cassadine, you name it. Then Lulu fell into a coma. Dante was destroyed. He eventually moved on with Sam and they built a life. Then Sam tragically died. Dante was grieving all over again and suddenly, boom, Lulu wakes up. It is a soap opera classic, but it is so deeply emotional. Carly, being Carly, immediately asks the burning question. She wants to know if Lulu thinks Dante reciprocates those feelings because Carly is nothing if not blunt. Lulu doubts it. She's beating herself up so badly right now. She blames herself for the runaway Rocco news. She thinks Rocco felt pressured or overwhelmed by her return and that's why he bolted. She's just drowning in guilt, but Carly stops her right there. Carly points out a massive glowing neon sign of a clue. Carly reminds Lulu that Dante literally planned on bolting with Rocco and Lulu using Sunny's resources. Think about that for a second. Dante, the straight-laced cop, was willing to blow up his entire life, break the law, and use his mob boss father's underground network to disappear with Lulu and their son. He was going to do that right up until he found out Rocco was already missing. Carly hears this, and she is like, hello. A man does not do that for someone he just considers a friend. Carly thinks this means something huge. She's considering whether this massive mess could actually lead to Lulu and Dante reuniting in the end. And honestly, I think Carly is right. Okay. That sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. Dante's actions scream that he is still deeply, fiercely protective of Lulu and bound to her in a way that goes way beyond co-parenting. Carly is going to stick up for Lulu. She might even wind up defending Lulu to Valentin later. Because Valentin is always lurking around Carly's place these days trying to be romantic. But Carly's focus right now is fiercely on her family. Now, let's talk about the Windermere blackmail mess, because this is where the plot gets really clunky but also kind of amazing. Laura and Sunny are seeking a new alliance. They need Lucas Jones. Yes, Lucas, they want his insight on Pascal and whether they might be able to get Pascal to betray Jen Sidwell. So they sit Lucas down and Lucas is not stupid. He grills Sunny and Laura. He wants to know what this is really about. He knows they are hiding something. And finally, Sunny and Laura crack. They confess about Sidwell's blackmail. They admit that Sidwell has something on them and they need to neutralize Pascal to get to Sidwell. And Lucas doesn't just agree to help. He insists on taking on a bigger role than they anticipated. He literally tells them, if this is going to succeed, you need me. And he's right. Lucas is the king of snooping. He can get into Windermere, he can get Pascal's attention. But the irony here is just off the charts. Lucas working with Sunny after everything. Let's remember the history here. Lucas is Bobby Spencer's son. His biological father was Julian Jerome, a mobster who Sunny hated. Lucas has historically hated Sunny and everything he stands for. The violence, the danger, the constant collateral damage. But Laura is involved and Lucas loves Laura. Laura is the mayor. She is the moral compass of this town. And if she is asking for help, Lucas knows it is serious. It is a very weird trio. Sunny, Laura, and Lucas, but it might just be crazy enough to work. Sunny is desperate. He is so doubtful that Lucas would even want to be involved, but Laura bridged that gap. Now they have to figure out exactly how to flip Pascal. Pascal is loyal to Sidwell, but everyone has a price. Everyone has a weakness. Sunny knows how to find weaknesses. I just hope Lucas doesn't get in over his head because Sidwell is not someone you play games with. Sidwell will end you. Sidwell, he is demanding people find at Westbourne. He is just a menace. If Lucas gets caught snooping in Windermere, Sidwell won't hesitate to take him out. Speaking of playing games with dangerous people, let's check in on Turning Woods. Nina Reeves is visiting Jack Brennan, and this storyline is just wild. Nina is trying to build some trust with Brennan now that she threw his second paralytic dose away. She literally held him down while someone injected him. But then she tossed the syringe instead of giving him the second dose. So now Brennan is faking it. He is faking being locked in around everyone else. But when Nina stops by, she tells him straight up, "I'm your only way out of this." Brennan is furious, obviously. He's not happy about Nina's injection getting him into this mess in the first place. He is paralyzed half the time, vulnerable to Ross Cullen, and stuck in a hospital bed. But he has to acknowledge that Nina is right. She is his only lifeline to the outside world right now. So they conspire. Behind closed doors, they are whispering and plotting. Brennan needs Nina to carry out some tasks for him beyond the walls of Turning Woods. He's going to give her intel and orders. And Nina is just eating this up. She loves being part of a secret scheme. It makes her feel alive. But there is a bigger picture here. Willow Kane needs leverage on Drew Kane. Remember, Willow shot Drew and is now drugging him to keep him in a fake locked-in state. It is the darkest storyline Willow has ever had. She wants to free herself from Drew and she is desperate. Maybe Brennan could still come through on that eventually. If Brennan gets his power back, he could help Willow. More importantly, Brennan help take down Sidwell and Ross Cullen. Cullen is the one keeping Brennan dosed. Cullen is the real monster here. If Nina and Brennan can team up, maybe they can find a path to freedom for all parties involved. It's a very risky alliance. Nina is not exactly known for her flawless execution of plans. She usually messes things up. But Brennan is smart. If he can direct her from that bed, they might actually pull this off. I am honestly starting to ship them a little bit. Is that weird? They have this bizarre toxic chemistry that is just working. Finally, we have to talk about Spoon Island. Poor Jocelyn Jax is still a prisoner in the sub-basement of Windermere Castle. And this time, she is dealing with Pascal instead of Cassius, aka fake Nathan West. Where is Cassius? Probably out running errands for Sidwell, or maybe Sidwell yelled at him on the phone to go find Britt. So Pascal is on babysitting duty. And Pascal is just cruel. He takes great pleasure in ridiculing Jocelyn while she's under his control. He sneers at her, telling her it's a shame she won't be able to do anything about her situation. He is totally trying to break her spirit, but Pascal clearly does not know Jocelyn Jax. Jocelyn is Carly's daughter. She has survived serial killers, mob wars, and losing her boyfriend. You do not lock a Spencer Corinthos Jax woman in a basement and expect her to just cry about it.